that has been presented to staff or submitted for review. So at this point, the identification Sandag is looking to purchase the property from the property owner or a portion of the property to acquire it for parking for the transit station. That is all that we know at this point. I don't know the status of whether or not they've acquired the property from the property owner and what the negotiations of that would be. At this point, we don't have any more information than that.
Okay, yes, Jim?
Yeah. Michael, since our last conversation that you and I had about Marina LLC, the property owner at Claremont Drive and Marina Boulevard, in which you and city staff at that point in time suggested that he could go to 60 feet. Has Marina LLC spoken with you since that time?
No.
No?
No.
Okay. So, second follow-up. Marina could step in, let's say, Monday morning with site plans to go to 60 feet. What would the city planning department's position be if that developer submitted those plans on Monday morning to go to 60 feet?
We would tell them that they need to, that they would need to get a site development permit if you wanted to propose any development over 30 feet, and that site development permit would need to be approved by city council. That's the regulation. We would identify, what the land use is and what the zoning is on the site. In terms of any other comments, I mean, there's a whole host of comments that are provided through a development review cycle, and I wouldn't be able to speculate in terms of what staff's doing.
I understand that.
Let me just interject, just because I heard some mumbling. That is the current law, okay? Nothing's being changed with respect to that. Just so you know, there's no, devious plan going on. Right today, if this plan was not even proposed, someone could go in any number of places along Marina Boulevard and request a site development permit to exceed the 30-foot height limitation. It's in the code today. It's been in the code for 30 years, so just so you all know that. But it does require city council approval, so it's not trying to taint this activity that we're going through right now with misunderstanding about what the code allows today, okay? I just had to get that off my chest.
Jeff,
Go ahead, Jim.
to be fair,
I understand.
what I don't want this community thinking is that this planning department is going to hold to a 30-foot height limit when a developer comes in with site plans to bust it. You are not going to say it's city policy because it's not, correct, Michael? In other words, you're going to say the current zone overlay is 30 foot. But that site developer has the right to submit his plans and go through the planning process and request a conditional use permit from this community planning group. I'm just trying to make things very clear for folks here. They have to understand that when you say, when it's put into the Marina Boulevard Station Area Planning Study, that you're going to hold to that 30-foot height limit in the Claremont Mesa plan area only, that doesn't mean it's solid and set in stone. That a site developer has the right to come in and request to bust that height limit. Yes, he does have to go back through the planning process, swing it back through the CCPG, and back all the way up to City Council. What you said was accurate. It goes back up to a City Council vote. I just wanted to make sure you understood that process.
Thank you.
Yes.
So here's my question. Is that the Marina Boulevard area planning study refers not to lanes, it refers to collectors. When I call down, I've read the study 3 times. When I called down and talked, I forget the guy I talked to down at the city, he said, oh, we don't have any control of what's going to happen to Marina Boulevard. Sandag has control if they build the northern trolley extension. So that my question is, who has control of downsizing Marina Boulevard?
The one for the most money.
Yeah, right? That's it.
City council member.
The City of San Diego City Council has the authority to reclassify roadways that are city roadways. Sandag's proposed transit station is operating, to my knowledge, on state property. They are not operating within city right-of-way. So within Morena Boulevard, from curb to curb, that would be the purview of the City of San Diego. Any changes to that would be the responsibility of the city. And if we're changing the roadway classification as identified in the community plan, that requires approval of the City Council.
Now, you realize that there's an interface between the city council and Sandag. The mayor is a voting member of Sandag. Once you get into how the relationship between the city council and Sandag works, you and the council are not going to have any say if Sandag wants to sit there and extend. That will go through, and we'll have a downsized Morena Boulevard along with all the additional traffic congestion that will come along with the rezoning of the Morena Boulevard corridor. I mean, logic tends to send you that way.
Sandag has no authority over Morena Boulevard, and they're not involved in any changes to the roadway or any maintenance of the roadway on Morena Boulevard. It is the purview of the city of San Diego and the City Council.
I think you've made your point, sir, and this is really not, again, that's getting down into specific issues. You've got plenty of time to address this over the next year and a half, right? So, yes, sir. Yeah, right there.
It's me. Two questions to follow up on James. It seems to me that regardless of your study, I think you're coming around and you're doing a good job. It seems to me, though, the key to the whole Morena Boulevard height limit problem is it starts at Bayview Plaza. If what James is saying is true, and whoever eventually owns the property comes in and goes directly to City Council and gets the variance to get it up to 60 feet, there'll be a domino effect. It'll start at Bayview Plaza, and then the property across the street that's going to be redeveloped, that'll go to 60. Because once the first guy gets 60 feet, the City Council is smooth sailing all the way down that road. So my question is, what would you advise to stop that from happening? You're saying Sandag might purchase. Correct me if I'm wrong, did you say Sandag is in the process of purchasing Bayview Plaza, part of that lot? Is that what I heard you say?
That's my understanding. I can provide an update at the next planning group meeting, and certainly we can have that information at the next, at our next formal announcement. But Sandag, to my knowledge, is looking to purchase a portion of the Bayview Plaza site to put in a parking lot to service the needs of the adjacent Claremont station. The height limit regulations are being maintained as they currently exist today in the Claremont Mesa Community Plan and in the municipal code. You're right that a developer and a property owner has the right to propose a deviation to the height limit, but that has to go through the process. And then whether or not the property owner chooses to utilize that right or to maintain the existing height limit or choose a different process is up to the property owner and not the city. The city will review that against the policies and regulations that are there for the site.
So I'm saying they can bypass your study, though, the Morena Boulevard study or the Morena Boulevard plan that you ultimately come up with. Is that correct? They can bypass you and go directly to City Council and get a variance if the City Council approves it.
It's not a bypass, it's a process whereby staff would evaluate the proposed project, and it would be evaluated in light of the policies and the regulations. Whether or not staff supports that would have to depend on a project-by-project
That's
basis.
a question for Jeff.
Okay, you're going to have to wrap it up.
Okay,
Again, we're
it's
getting
an
more
important question.
questions.
It's an important question. When these guys, whoever might own that property, decides they want a variance or whatever, could you give us more notice than 1 or 2 days on the monthly notice? I noticed 1 month this year, there wasn't any notice until like an hour before the meeting. Usually you have it Friday morning. Is there any way to push that, maybe give us a week notice so people can actually know what's going on with regard specifically to Bayview Plaza, maybe down by Tecolote? Could we get a week notice on the website?
Yeah, you can talk to the next chair. I always did my best to get it out as soon as
I
I could.
understand, but it's hard for people a lot of people say, we didn't know about it because it wasn't up there.
I did my best to follow the 72-hour rule, and that's the requirement, and that's what I've always strive to maintain. The next chair might be able to lengthen that out. You know, but I think in terms of a deviation on something like that, you're going to be made well aware of it in advance. That an application is coming forward, and clearly before this board would make any kind of formal recommendation to the department. So again, we're getting sidetracked. I want to stick on the status and the outreach. Okay, it's not, you're going to have a year and a half to deal with these issues. Okay, I just want to keep it moving. Yes, sir, in the back, Dan.
I'm Daniel. 25 years ago, I didn't have much gray hair, but I was up on the planning committee, and Billy Paul was on the planning committee. And I remember when Sandag came over, and I voted for the trolley. I wanted the trolley to come in, and I voted for it 25 years ago. The problem was we didn't have anyone in attendance. There was no one in the room. It was just people presenting. So my question, and here's another issue regarding the gentleman in the blue sweater. Look at, this is all a political process. It's all politics. A developer can go in and apply for a variance and a conditional use permit. You know, look at, I don't think I'm the smartest guy in the room, but I do know that this is really common sense. And when I hear everybody talking, you tend to forget that this is a political process. It goes on all the time.
Right.
And 25 years ago, same thing. So here we are, back to square one. But anyway, it's my.
Okay, you're at a minute. Can I wrap it up? Please?
Okay, I'm finished.
Okay, thank you.
Do you guys understand the impact of
Excuse me,
SB 375?
Sir, I didn't. I'm going to keep control right now. I'm not
Around
gonna-
mobility hubs?
Okay, it's not. We're not going to go there. Okay, yes, sir, right there.
I know that this is about community outreach, and I'll keep my question to that. Our friend here in the front from PB asked about their involvement. You guys were kind of crunching numbers on 50% of the board versus a majority of this and that. I know you said you'd work that out. I think it'd be absolutely silly to not bring PB in and not put our board with Linda Vista's board and not start this conversation now and think about 3 trolley stops and maybe have a board that's talk solely about bringing how we're going to incorporate 3 trolley stops into 3 separate plan areas.
Yes, ma'am? Yeah, yes, right there.
Is it true that Sandag has eminent domain? So if someone does not want to sell their property, they will just take it from them? I'm asking my...
I don't know the answer to that, so I would hesitate to... Huh?
At the meeting at Bay Park School, I wanted a minute. At the meeting at Bay Park School, you knew the answer. You said the cities cannot take the property. A gentleman came up and asked if Sandag could, and you said yes, Sandag can.
Right. The
By
difference...
eminent domain, so the residents down there, like my friend that lives on Marina, she could have her house taken away, along with her other, that's my person.
Yeah, I believe they do have that authority. However, I don't want to state definitively since I'm not an attorney and I haven't checked with Sandag's attorneys on that. That's my only caveat since I know that we're being recorded. So
Sandag does have eminent domain on Marina.
Again, I believe that's probably true. I can confirm that at the next meeting, but again, I don't want to state definitively until I know for sure.
Okay, Jim. Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
I forget the gentleman's name that's head over the entire project for the Midcoast trolley, but in my meeting with him, yes, he has, and he is the sole person in that. So he's the project head, and he can make that decision, just as they're probably going to make that decision on the Marina LLC property on Claremont Drive because of parking, if the developer doesn't walk in the site plans prior to that.
Okay, that's good. And we're getting close to closing it, so just please keep it on the status and outreach, okay? Ma'am, no, I'm going to go beyond you. Yes, she hasn't.
Explain to me how any environmental impact report can actually allow for any kind of this type of growth, especially housing, given the current water situation or no water situation?
Jim.
Based on the land use plan that will be developed, and I would just say that that is yet to be determined what the growth is going to look like. Yes, the environmental analysis will have to evaluate how much water it will take to accommodate that.
So there's
And
a calculation?
yes, and along with the transportation components that'll be looked at, the land use, the specific plan will also be looking at infrastructure and public facilities. All of that will be, there'll be a plan and then an environmental analysis of that plan across all of those components.
Okay, I'm trying to get people who hasn't had a question, because now I'm getting the repeats. So I just want to keep it moving here.
Where's the tech will be stalled?
You know where the Jerome's is, right there where the nursery is?
Yeah.
Anderson Nursery is right there. Yes,
One
ma'am.
question, why would we not check into and verify in regards to water before they even start this? Because they spend all this money. We're asked to economize on our water, we economize, 6 months later, the water company says, we don't have a account because of so much savings, so we have to reserve it.
The a water supply assessment will be done very early on in the process to determine what water resources are available to serve any proposed change to the project. Excuse me, to the plan, landscape project.
Is that done by PlaceWorks? Is that part of it?
We will be working with a specific civil engineering firm to do that. It will not be our specific firm, it'll be part of the team.
And it will also be the Public Utilities Department within the City of San Diego that does a water supply assessment as part of the proposal. That is a feature of the environmental impact report that needs to be completed as well. So there will be multiple studies and analyses that will be available for public review and comment at such time that we have them completed.
Thank you.
Okay, any last? Done? Okay, any last here before I don't know. Okay, so I think we're gonna, the new board.
Yeah, thanks. See you
Next month, come on out and tell us how the launch of the website went, or tell somebody else. I'll probably be in the audience sneering.
Oh, come on.
So we appreciate that. We'll work on the ad hoc and probably Jim, maybe some others get together on interested people. So, okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I want to compliment the crowd. That was nice. You were, for the most part, well behaved. So. You have to keep control, I'm telling you. Once you lose it, it's hard to get it back. Okay, that's, I'm going to let the crowd kind of dispense before we go on to the next item. Okay. So we're listening, Jack? Okay. Okay, Jack, but we do have a form because we have Scott and Lynn and the meeting. So we're good. Thank you. Thank you, Jack. Okay, we have a representative. I'm going to deviate a little bit just to allow some reports from our state. Representative or senator? Senator, yes, right, Senator Block. Thank you. You want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Hillary Nemchik from Senator Marty Block's